Hello, my dear friends. Today is a very auspicious day in the Jewish calendar. It's the 14th day of Adar. Purim falls on the 14th day of Adar. This year, that it's a leap year, there's 2 Adars, 2 months of Adar, so we celebrate Purim in the second month, another Sheni. The first month, the 14th day of Adar, is known as Purim Katan. It's a smaller, a minor Purim. There's certain elements of Purim that are of the celebration of Purim that we observe on the 14th day of Adar. We don't recite Tachan and davening. There's no eulogies delivered on Purim Katan. The Shulchan Aruch says you should enhance your meal on Purim. Says like a minor Suda on the 14th day of Adar, and as well as the 15th day has the same status because it's Shushan Purim Katan. Purim is a day of salvation. The Jews were traumatized, just like today in Eretz Yisrael they're traumatized. They were traumatized, but in a worse fashion because it was an existential threat. They were destined to be totally annihilated by the decree of Achashverosh through the instigation of Haman, and they celebrated the hanging of Haman and the rescinding of the decree on Purim. So we need also a Yeshua. We need the state of Israel is in a state of trauma. The pain is so intense. The losses have been so great. Every day, Rachmana litzlan, more soldiers are being killed and are injured. They're in harm's way. The hostages, 150 hostages, are still in captivity after 4.5 months. It's horrific, and we need a Yeshua. We should be davening today that the Ribono Shel Olam, the same way he saved us on Purim 2,000 years ago, he should save us today as well. You know, there was a salvation that took place on Purim 33 years ago. There was the Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm. It was 43 days that America invaded Iraq because Iraq invaded Kuwait, and Saddam Hussein, who was the evil dictator of Iraq, and he was the greatest support at that time. He was the supporter of terror, especially attacks against Eretz Yisrael. He would finance those attacks, and he would pay the families of suicide bombers. America attacked because he had invaded Kuwait with a coalition. During the war, every day there were Scud missiles being shot into Israel. I think there were, as I recall, 39 Scud missiles. Baruch Hashem, one person was killed, but otherwise it was a nace. Nobody else was killed by the 39 Scud missiles, but they were worried at that time about gas attacks, and every time there was a siren, they ran into the safe places and they put on masks. And you remember the pictures, those of you who are old enough, of the entire family, even the little children had to wear gas masks. And it finally came to an end. Iraq surrendered. February 28th, which was Yud Dalet Adar. It was Purim, and it was the time of Yeshua. So we need a replication of the Yeshua of the original Purim and the Yeshua of the Purim 33 years ago. We need to be able to celebrate Yeshuas. And if the Yeshua won't come today, we hope that it will, but let's hope that this is the beginning of the process. And by the time we reach it should come sooner, but by the time we reach the second Purim, the second Adar, it should be complete Yeshua and salvation for Klal Yisrael. So I was thinking that if it is Purim, Purim is the time of Yeshua. One of the elements that were very important in the Yeshua of Klal Yisrael was the fact that Klal Yisrael was united. There's a famous word from the Geri Rebbe who says that Esther told Mordechai, "Lech kenosis kol Yehudim." Before I go into Achashverosh, gather together the entire Jewish people, and they should fast and daven for me. So the Rebbe said that she was saying, "Kenosis kol Yehudim." Make sure the Jewish people are unified, because when Klal Yisrael is unified, when there's achdus, then the Jewish people are protected because they're a strong entity. It's like you take a bunch of sticks, you can break one stick at a time, you can break, but you put them together in a bundle, they become super strong. Klal Yisrael are strongest when they're unified. Haman said, "Yeshna am echad mefuzim before bein ha'am," and there's one nation that's dispersed and divided among the kingdom of Achashverosh, and therefore he told Achashverosh they could be attacked and destroyed. But so Esther said, well, we have to reverse that. We have to do the exact opposite. Kenosis Kol Yehudim. And that's something that we have to practice today. And Baruch Hashem, we are, the Achdus in Eretz Yisrael is beyond belief. And even around the world, Jews are, all world Jewry is focused on what's taking place in Eretz Yisrael. And we're all saying Tehillim daily, and we're thinking about it. It's on our minds all the time. So, but we need to, if today is Purim Katan, since today is Purim Katan, we need to intensify the Achdus today. So I was thinking, I had a thought that I want to share with you. One way to intensify, to increase, to enhance the Achdus. The Achdus is there. We need to make it stronger, the Achdus. And that should lead to the Yeshua salvation of the Jewish people. I saw on last week's Parsha, the Torah says, V'yichli truma me'eis kol isha she'yidveno libo. Take truma from every individual who's willing to donate generously. So the Vorka Rebbe, who was Rabbi Vorka, was a Talmud of the Choser from Luban. So the Choser was the third generation from the Baal Shem Tov. So Rabbi Vorka was the fourth generation. He lived in the beginning of the 19th century. So he says a beautiful thought. He divides the pasuk. He says, instead of reading him Eis Kol Isha She'yidveno Libo, he says, pause after Me'esh Kolish, from every person. V'yichli truma Me'esh Kolish. Take truma from every person. So he says that means that from every person you can learn something important. You can learn something new. You take away from the example. Everybody has at least one good quality where they excel. No, nobody excels in everything, but everybody has. Even if sometimes the midas are deficient, but in other areas the midas are strong. Look at each person and see what you could learn. Truma means a separation. Take something from that person. Me'eis kolish, from every single person. Every single person can teach you something new. I have often encouraged reading biographies about Gedolei Yisrael, because when you read a biography, there's always something that you could take away. I've told this a number of times. There's a biography about Rabbi Steinberg, who was the principal of Beis Yaakov in Baltimore, and he passed away at a young age. Hanoch Teller wrote a beautiful biography called The Principle of the Matter. I learned two things that I read the book maybe, I don't remember, 25, 30 years ago. Two things that made an impression. I took away. I still practice it till this day as best as I can. First of all, he said that he never referred to the workers in the school in the yeshiva as janitors. He referred to them as maintenance people, because you have to be mechabit everybody, Jew, non-Jew, doesn't matter what his or her position is. You have to give them cover. So he referred to them as maintenance people. So it's a lesson in being mechabit everybody. It doesn't matter who it is and who the individual is and what our connection is. Everybody deserves cover, Jew and non-Jew. You have to treat people with cover. The other thing that I learned was that he never answered a telephone. When he was in the middle of a meeting, if the phone rang, he would not answer it, because he said, why is the person that's on the phone deserving of more attention than the live person that's sitting here? The live person will be offended. The person on the phone, if you don't pick up the phone, is not going to be offended. But people can't control themselves. The phone's ringing. I have to answer the phone. So I try the best I can. I hope nobody out there remembers a meeting that I had with them where I answered the phone in the middle of the meeting. Sometimes if it's an emergency, or if it's my wife, I answer the phone if Peggy calls. But ordinarily, I try the best I can not to answer the phone, because people, that's also a way of being mechabit people, and answering the phone is the opposite. It's showing a lack of dignity, lack of cover for the individual. So I'm giving this as an example. Two things that I learned just from reading a biography, from living biographies, from living people. It doesn't have to be Gedolei Yisrael. Every person has special qualities. So here's my suggestion. When you're sitting in shul tomorrow, you're going to be sitting next to somebody. Think about that person. Pick one thing that you can learn from that person. I'm sure you can learn from every person. You can learn more than one thing. You can learn 20 things. But pick one thing that you know that person excels in, and make up in your mind, you know what, I'm going to try to emulate that quality. That's the Vorka Rebbe's shot in the pasuk that I just quoted. Me'eis kolish, from every single person. Take truma, take something off. Take something away. Like when you take truma, you have to take a piece off. Take something away. Me'es kolish from every single person. There's nobody that we can't learn from. And the next Shabbos, do it with another person. Or if you meet somebody in the street, do it with that person. There's always something good to say about people. You go to a levaya, and people that are, somebody passes away, and people that nobody gives them much attention, and suddenly you hear all the compliments and all the hespedim that are said about this person, and you're sitting there thinking, "Wow, I didn't even think about it when he or she was alive." That's a very big fault. We need to think about when the people are alive. We need to think about what makes them special. And if we will see what's special, that's how you mechabed people. How you mechabed people? When you see their value, when you see their importance. And when you mechabed people, that creates unity. If you don't think people are important, so what do I need to have any connection to that person? But when you realize that a person is special, that helps create achdus. So I encourage you. Today is a special day. It's the 14th. It's Purim Katan. Today is a day of unified. Let's bring everybody together. Let's focus on seeing the good in other people, and in that way, we'll create greater achdus. Adapt. It's like you can adapt a highway. Let's adapt a midah that people have, and in that way, it will enhance the achdus of Klal Yisrael. And in Mirz Hashem, we should be able to celebrate today. On Purim Katan, we should be able to celebrate, and leading up to into the second month of Adar, into Adar Sheni, we should be able to celebrate the salvation once and for all. Hamas should be totally destroyed. The hostages should be freed. The Jews in Israel should go back to living with a sense of security, and the Rebbeinu Shalom should bring simcha for all of Klal Yisrael.